Did I not tell you I was monetized now? Oh yeah. It happened like last week. How long until I get my money back? Well, you could probably figure it out. It's going to be what? So if you factor in how much you get per click, how many views I get roughly per video, my sort of rate of growth. So that is that. Minus cost of the camera, lighting, camera lens, tripod, samples for doing the comparisons. What else? Just the fragrances that I've bought. Factor in my time, roughly that per hour, that many hours a week. So make with that. So it should take about 8 years. Oh, word to your mother. My name's Steve and this channel is FRAG30 and thank you for tuning in. Today's video is going to be a quick one because when a clone is this good and it smells this close to the original, there's not really that much I can say, to be honest. So today I'm talking about Alexandria Fragrances version of Tom Ford Neroli Portafino, and their version is called Alex Port. Now this is the first venture into the world of Neroli Portafino. I have smelt it in store, I think briefly, but I've never actually worn it or given it any sort of thorough testing. As always, I did a side-by-side comparison with a sample of the original Tom Ford Neroli Portafino, which I sourced from fragrancesamplesuk.com. I'm not sponsored by them, I pay for the samples, but I always kind of give them reference because without them I couldn't really make these videos. So it's good for you guys to kind of know where the samples come from in case you want to get some samples. So I can say, as I've emphasised, this is the first time I've really kind of got into Neroli Portafino, and I can honestly say I have thoroughly enjoyed wearing this fragrance. I've worn it for a few days now and I've really enjoyed it, and it's just delightful. I think every day I've worn it, my wife has kind of complimented me and sort of given me an unsolicited comment saying that I smell nice. So it must be doing the right thing. The weather has been really complimentary because it's been a really nice sunny day, which totally suits this fragrance. So for those of you that don't know much about Neroli Portafino, it opens with a nice fresh citrus, but it is also quite a subtle citrus, so it's not kind of too tart or in your face. It's quite a nice fresh subtle citrus. In the mids there's a shitload of florals and I can't be bothered to remember them and regurgitate them all, but of course there's neroli in there, there's jasmine as well as a few others, and in the base there's some ambrette, some amber and some angelica as well to kind of give it a sort of subtle greenness to it as well. And as I say, I've really enjoyed wearing it. So as always I did side by side, so I wore the original on one arm, the original on this arm in fact, if I'm going to be really pedantic, and the Alexandria Fragrances version on this arm, and I did put the Alex version as well around my neck and for both days that I've worn it. And as I say, it was been delightful. Now, as I said at the start of the video, there's not too much to report because it is a fucking good clone. It is really good. Now there are some subtle differences, but in all honesty they are negligible, but I will try and break it down a little bit just to give you something. But I can wholeheartedly say you're not going to be disappointed if you're looking for something that's close to the original. So in the opening I noticed that the original is slightly more tart than the Alex version. It is, again, it's not a major difference, but I think those citruses are a little bit kind of stronger in the original, so just make it a little bit sharper, a little bit more tart than the Alex version, which is a little bit kind of softer and it's a little bit more sweet, but a floral sweetness. It's a little bit more floral, which gives it just a hint of kind of more sweetness, but again, not dramatic differences here, I can assure you. After about 10 minutes, the original, I would say, is slightly greener. Again, only slight. If you were wearing one or wearing the other, you probably couldn't tell the difference, but just doing a side by side, I can tell that I would say that the original is slightly greener and the Alex version is slightly more floral, which gives it just a slight sweetness about it. But as I say, it's not a synthetic sweetness, it's not like benzoin or anything like that. It is kind of like a nice natural floral sweetness, but it is only ever so slight. And then after about 20 to 30 minutes, when they're fully dried down, there is hardly any difference. I mean, they are really, really close. To the point where there's not much I could say. I can't really say much to you, I'm afraid. As I say, I've picked up some unsolicited compliments from my wife, and for me, this fragrance is one that I've not really got anything similar to it or equivalent in my collection. Now, I did forget to mention at the start of the video that this sample was free of charge. I'm sorry if that offends you or bothers you or think it's going to affect my critique. I assure you it won't, but obviously I am singing its praises, so you may think I'm lying, but I'm not. So yeah, but what I will say is, because I've got nothing like this in my collection and I've enjoyed this so much, I certainly, when this sample runs out, I will be buying a full bottle of it, because I think it's something that I need in my collection, and this is so close to the original. If anything, I would say if I had to pick one, I probably prefer the Alex version, just because it's slightly sweeter and softer from those florals, and a little bit less green. But in all honesty, if I had to do a blind test, I'd probably struggle to tell the difference. You know, it is really close. Just to add some sort of, you know, constructive feedback and give some sort of balance to this review, what I will say is this atomizer, which, as I say, I didn't pay for, so I shouldn't really complain, but this atomizer is pretty shit, to be honest. I've had to apply quite a bit, because when it goes on, it's just a very kind of like light spritz. It's kind of like, and you don't really feel like it's been applied, so I feel like I have to apply quite a few squirts to feel like I've applied the fragrance. So that's my only real criticism. And then I sort of applied a few, and then it started doing little kind of squirts like some sort of 2-year-old child attempting to piss. So before I finish, I should probably just mention the performance. Performance of the Alexandria fragrance was better than the original, not dramatically so. One day I wore them and it was like the hottest day of the year, so I burnt both off pretty quickly, if I'm honest. I think it's sort of 4 hours, because I was doing a bit of activity as well. Another day was a bit more of a normal day. I was kind of in the car a bit with aircon, and I was doing a bit of walking, but nothing too strenuous. And then I got some decent performance, well, reasonable performance out of both of them. The Alex version lasted about 6 to 7 hours, where the original was kind of, I could just about smell it after 5, so it did outperform it on longevity. And projection was similar on both. I got sort of 1 to 2 hours of kind of reasonable projection, and then it started getting a bit closer. So not beast mode performance by any means, but it's quite a nice subtle fragrance which is just really enjoyable, and I kept getting whiffs of it throughout the day. So sorry this review was fairly undramatic and boring, because I was just licking the arse of Alexandria fragrances, but I've got to tell it how it is. I've really enjoyed wearing it. It's a cracking clone, and I will be buying some. But by all means, do let me know below if you've tried some other clones of Neroli Portafino that you think are as good, if not better. You know, have you tried this one? Have you tried others? If there's any others that you would recommend, let me know, because I'm open to suggestion by all means. I've not tried any others, so I've got no other clones to compare it to. But if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so, because it's helping me kind of reach my next milestone, which is 2,000 subscribers. And as I say, thank you for tuning in. I do love you for doing so, and I do appreciate all the support and the comments that you kind of share with me. So until the next time, I will see you again soon. Much love.